Morning friends, Jason here, and we have another Impreza video. You know, it's not strictly Impreza, it's like Subaru tuner for fun, right? I was thinking about what kind of content I could give you guys. What things can you do to this car, right? That's why you guys are here. I've modified my car a bit. I've upgraded a lot of parts, bolt-ons, minor aesthetics kind of thing, but I'm not here for the aesthetics. I'm here for kind of more the performance side of things, right? Now we're talking about an Impreza. Why would anyone modify or upgrade a family car? Well, because it's in the economical range of a lot more people. If you want a performance car, sports cars, that's, dollar more, right? But in the economy class, you can still upgrade these cars and have a more functional, more useful, more fun car to drive, starting at a lower base price. So it has a lot of value, right? You might not get the big motor, but there's a lot of other things that you can increase: feeling, comfort, performance, handling, braking, efficiencies. Like all of those things can be upgraded, right? From the factory, a lot of these cars come, good enough for 95% of people, right? And then there's the 5% who are like, I want a little bit more. And I think if you come to this channel, you're probably one of those people, right? So here we go. Okay. So performance combinations. This is something that I always think about, because, in the video game land, there's combos, right? And if you can use a single, attack or something, then that's good. But if you know the combos, you actually do more damage, you inflict more, yeah. So combinations for performance upgrades. Okay, there's a few single shot upgrades, modifications that you can do to your car that make it really good, right? And I'll start with the most inexpensive one, and it lives under the hood. It's a steering column damper lockdown. Easy upgrade, like $50, and you have instantly more connected handling. The rear sway bar. From the stock sway bar, if you even have one, to an upgraded one, around in these cars, a 20 millimeter upgraded rear sway bar changes the entire footprint of the car. So easy one to do. I would suggest that one. All right, this one might not be obvious, but get an alignment. That's a single one-shot upgrade that will give you, instantly better handling and feedback in your car. Alignment. So my absolute favorite one-shot upgrade: rear subframe bushing inserts. Pow! They literally connect the rear end of the car, where 50% of the power should be going to the ground. If you tighten up those rear bushings, it's like suddenly the entire drivetrain gets like a little bit more peppy. Let's get into the two combos. Two things that you can do that usually come together, that work together. Rotors and brake pads. But even before that, .4 fluid. I think I'm gonna do the obvious one here. The wheel and the tire together, when they're upgraded, you get a lighter or stronger wheel, and then the tire, you get a grippier wheel or something that is more applicable to the application that you're running. A very good upgrade for your car. So for the Subarus, they have a catalog of STI products that one can peruse and possibly purchase. STI parts are a little bit expensive, but they do have engineering built into them. So you're paying for the engineering, okay? And you're paying for a quality product. So I like the branding. It's basically the tuner arm of Subaru. So, my car came with a Subaru STI spoiler off the hatch, and it, basically made me say, yes, I'll buy this car. It's an OEM factory upgrade. So the combination that I'm going to talk about here is the flexible strut tower bar in the front and then also the flexible draw stiffener underneath below. And that's an option for this car. And those two, while you can put them and install them separately, their most powerful combination is when they're combined, right? Like when you put them together, because both of them work with each other, right? You know, you can do them separately, but then once you get the two together, it's like, oh, bonus. There is a 3-4 step combo on this car that is one of my favorites. Not too many people talk about it, even in the tuning world. You know, it's a kind of a more of a, you know, a lower subject, right? Because, you know, typically people are like, give me the horsepower, give me the torque, right? Then they're like, maybe give me the brakes, and then after that they're like, you know, aero or, you know, whatever, right? You know, tires obviously. But for smaller cars and even, you know, big horsepower cars, the drive line, the drivetrain, the powertrain, it can be tuned, right? And one of my favorite things here is like the whole drive line of this car is bushed on OEM rubber to soften noise, vibration, and harshness. Upgrade the drive line on this car, especially since you have an all-wheel drive system, which is going to be sapping power here and there, differentials, hubs, you know, your transmission, and then to the motor, right? All of those things need to be supported somehow, and they're on bushings. So here's the combination that I went through. The pitch stop, that's a single one that you can do. Do that one, see if you like it, okay? If you don't like it, then maybe stay away from the rest of these. Okay, so pitch stop. Okay, then you can venture underneath to the transmission mount. That thing is bushed up, and you can put aftermarket bushings in there, polyurethane, I would suggest, and then solid billet if you're going to be racing and you don't care about noise and vibration. So that's like a front end combination, your pitch stop and your transmission brakes. Okay, onto the back. So typically in a front wheel drive car, you're not even going to have this consideration, but because Subaru produces an awesome all-wheel drive system, they also have to think about the bushings for the drivetrain in the rear. So here, there's something called, you know, there's a drive shaft that goes to the rear, right? And where does that connect to? Something called a diff carrier support, and then the differential itself. So those things are also bushed up. Where can you upgrade? Good combination. Diff carrier bushings and diff lockdown. Upgrade those two in combination, and you're going to get more of that power to the rear end. Now here's a super combo. Pitch stop, transmission mount, diff carrier, and differential. That's a 4 combo efficiency adder. It's one of my favorite. And there's like a lot of combinations. You know, and you can section them off into different parts of the car, right? Segment these upgrades. You know, there's the brakes, there's wheels and tires, there's the engine intake side of things, the engine exhaust side of things, there's the drivetrain that we just talked about. So endless combinations, especially in Subarus. The all-wheel drive car really is the engineering marvel, right? That puts power down to all 4 wheels. Yeah, granted, you have to use more of that motor in the front, right? So that's why some people really want the big motor, because they want to put all the power down. But I'm of the opinion that you don't actually need that much power to enjoy and the sport of just driving your car. And so when you do that efficiency mod all the way through the drivetrain, suddenly this car becomes a little bit more spry. Another combination that you can do with this car is just getting it light, right? And think about all the different things that you can do to get the car light, right? That's like an endless combination. There's a long string. So what I did to begin with, the easiest one is to remove your spare and tools. Things like removing the rear seats, the seat backs. If you don't have passengers, it's a good one. I wouldn't recommend removing the seat cushion in the rear because it provides a lot of sound deadening, but that's a 10-pound removal right there. My front seat, passenger seat is removed. That's like 40 pounds. So, weight reduction combinations, right? If you could and afford it, a lightweight battery or a battery relocation, right? Things like that. So that's a good combination of weight reduction, and then weight transfer in the chassis is also something to consider. Those are more advanced topics, but yeah, weight combos. Now, Jason, I noticed that you've stayed away from suspension up until now. Why is that? Well, because suspension is one of the ultimate combos of most vehicles. If you can transform a car's suspension, you can basically have, super agility and handling, right? So let's go into some suspension. Some of the combinations, like for just beginners, I talked about the rear sway bar, right? You can upgrade a rear sway bar, and then if you want, there's like a little side bonus is upgrading the rear sway bar bushings. Change out the rubber to something like polyurethane, right? And that goes for the entire car. Anything that is rubber in this car, if you can find a polyurethane bushing upgrade for it, it's probably good. Pretty inexpensive, and you can do them piecemeal, one at a time if you want. So always a good, plus one, plus one, plus one. Ding. Okay, rear end suspension combinations. You have your rear lower control arms and your toe links. You can upgrade those two together, and you'll get a very good. You'll be able to adjust your camber, but then you'll also be able to get a little bit of that drivetrain efficiency by bushing up, some of those aftermarket parts. Again, any of the parts that you buy, look for. If you're going to be the upgrading for the performance stuff and handling, then look for good quality bushings and or spherical bushings, right? But stay away from the cheap stuff, guys, if you can, because you get what you pay for, essentially, right? So another combination to add to that is the trailing link. So that's a triple combo. That's what I have on this car. It really helps, put some of that power down to that all the way to the front. And the benefit of doing the trailing link is that it comes with, an even better upgraded bushing, which is like a spherical ball or a heme joint. So those are usually used in heavy duty suspension where, noise, vibration, and harshness isn't considered a major challenge. And if you use more solidly bushed arms and links, you can transfer power again. Bonus to the drivetrain, bonus to that drivetrain efficiency, right? So that's where these combinations now start adding bonus hits. Why do you want to upgrade your suspension, right? The suspension is those arms, like the stock ones, they all work. It's just the bushings in the aftermarket ones add a little bit more stoutness and solidity, right? Like, yeah, sometimes they're a little bit heavier, but they're more durable and more robust. Okay, so the other combo for suspension, we haven't talked about any of the dampers and springs yet, right? So dampers and springs, you could probably do struts and springs. That's a good combo. But then if you want to take it one step further, you can get into the coilover land, right? And coilovers are one of those single shot upgrades that, while being a little bit more expensive, they do provide, very good it's a very good upgrade, guys. Suspension's one of my favorite things in life. I don't know how to put it, but if you have good suspension, then you'll be happy. You can get on a coilovers for like $300, but think about what you're doing, okay? Like literally every day you're going to be sitting in this car and going to be jostled around on really bad suspension. If you're going to pay for suspension, then pay for the good stuff, or at least mid-range and up, and it should be the same or better quality than OEM. I hope that I'm illustrating that a lot of these things are additive, right? The more you do to a car's suspension, drivetrain, you're adding, slowly but maybe and very surely more better to the car, right? And I know a lot of people are like, why spend the money? Like, OEM's good, and OEM is great, right? That's why you bought the car. It's reliable and it's gonna last, right? These modifications are for those people that just want the plus ones. More combinations. The engine bay. Let's talk about the intake, like things that go into the engine. We have charcoal filter delete, upgraded air filter, and then maybe a cold air intake, right? So if you do that combination, you may see some good benefits. Oh, plus one would be the power blocks. All right, so here's the exhaust combo. Okay, the one that's going to give you the most benefit is the header. I think the next one after that is the front pipe, because that front pipe sizing, the entrance of it is 2" rather than 2¼ which is the exit of my header, right? And then the mid pipe opens up into a 2¼ and then it goes back to the axle back, which is stock is 2". So if you can free up the sizing of the exhaust from front to back, you will start increasing the flow out of the engine. Don't go too big, guys. Just stay under 2.5 is what the recommended sizing for exhaust for a naturally aspirated 2.5 liter engine is. So combo, header, front pipe, mid pipe, axle back. Or you can do a combination if, you're not going to get the performance benefit, but you might get that nice sound if you want to remove the rear stock muffler. You change it out for something else. That's just sound, guys. The rear is just sound, okay? The performance comes from the front end, right? All right, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've already started on the whole exhaust thing, right? So the headers, I got a 421 equal length, low profile, Inferno Fabrications header on this thing. Cost me a fortune, but it does change the harmonics of that engine quite a bit, right? And you can open it up a little bit more than the stock one. However, the stock, you can open that thing up too. Don't get me wrong. Use what you got, guys. Like, I'm not saying that you have to upgrade all these things. I'm just giving you guys combos that you can do so that it's what's most effective, right? I don't know, guys. Just enjoy your cars. Drive them. Look at them. Keep them clean. Keep them well maintained. And I think everyone will be happy. After all, it's a utility vehicle. It's got to get you from A to B. You got to get your food in it. You got to get you to your places in it. So keep it reliable, right? I know a lot of people, like, maybe they take it beyond me. Obviously people take it beyond me, but at the end of the day, this car is still my daily driver, right? So all the things that I've done to it are within the bounds of reliability and street legality and things like that, right? The tuner is someone who approaches the car with a bit of class, right? Keep it clean, guys.